And it got into Pennsylvania, and we saw as much as 3 feet of snow in western Pennsylvania, down into West Virginia and western Maryland, and then on it moved into southern New England. It sort of started last night there, really picking up the heavy snows, and they now have more than 2 feet of snow in many locations. This is what it looked like yesterday afternoon around the Hartford, Connecticut area. The kids were released from school, I believe, and did a little sledding. This is New Hartford, and out towards Litchfield is where they got the heaviest snow. That's Litchfield right there. Kind of a pretty scene. But also a real mess to be driving around in. And they also had the just incredibly windy conditions. In Hartford, down along the shore, they had a lot of rain mixed in yesterday, but now it is all snow, and it looks like it's going to go on and on. Here's what we picked up in Pennsylvania and in Maryland. Many locations flirting with the 3-foot mark, like Ogletown, Pennsylvania. Bradford, PA, 25 inches of snow on the ground, tapering off in Maryland and in Pennsylvania. Just a few flurries today, but as it goes on into southern New England, Worcester, Mass. so far has picked up record snowfall with 26 inches in a 24-hour period now. Pittsfield with 2 feet. Boston changed over to all snow now, 3 inches on the ground, and it continues to snow. Little snow can be some fun, but not when you get wind gusts like this. Up to 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts from New Jersey to New York and LaGuardia. The airport was closed for a long period of time there. And it looks like, again, still today, we have the strong winds, especially out on the Cape, dying down around New York City, but there's still the possibility of coastal flooding. And then by tomorrow, that storm will be history, and we'll look westward, where since Wednesday night, we've already picked up over a foot of snow in many locations. And as that storm system dives southward around the Four Corners region, we're looking for another foot of snow to accumulate in the next 24 hours. So if you're out and about traveling, here's the areas you need to watch. Through tonight, on into Sunday, the east looks okay, but from the Rockies to the plains, it's going to be a mess. Let's let Charlie take a look at the forecast now.
Okay, the good afternoon forecast starts with this afternoon's map. That's a reasonable thing to do. And we find the storm in the east still whirling around, hanging right off the southern New England coast with a lot of rain, a lot of wind and snow as it very slowly starts to edge its way on to the east. But it's not going to go away quite yet. Back to the west, another storm is building in the Rocky Mountains. It'll be moving into the Plain States by tomorrow morning, bringing some rain. Some of it could be quite heavy into portions of Texas, while this storm will still be felt across the extreme eastern parts of New England, on back down to around Providence and maybe into Long Island Sound and north into the Maine coast. But as it moves on out, look for the winds to continue tomorrow afternoon.
Travel is not a good idea throughout interior sections of New England, but it's improving for some neighboring states. We'll have the whole travel picture coming up on the Weather Channel.
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Flexible screens let you shave below skin level. The Remington microscreen. Ladies, shave in or out of the shower. The Lady Remington Wet Dry.
New Skill FlexiCharge cordless tools all share the same battery pack. So when you need a recharge, they keep on working. The FlexiCharge interchangeable power system from Skill.
Cheryl Ladd on Body Slide.
The idea came from the skaters on the beaches. What they're doing isn't just fun, it's a fantastic fat-burning workout. Now Body Slide brings that right into your living room. You just slide your way to a great shape. It's fun, it's like skiing or skating, but it's also an unbeatable non-impact aerobic workout, and it's great for your hips and thighs.
Body Slide burns calories fast, faster than the exercise bike or even aerobics.
Body Slide really works. Body Slide lets you do all kinds of fun, different aerobic exercises, indoors or out, and it's non-impact. In no time at all, you're watching those extra pounds disappear, seeing those extra inches just melt away, and fitting into clothes like never before. So I know you want to try it. Come on.
Body Slide from the makers of ThighMaster includes the glide surface, instructions, and the slider booties. It's all yours for just $49.95. And you can try it for 30 days risk-free. Plus, call now, and you'll also get Cheryl's video workout tape absolutely free. Body Slide. Call and order yours today.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. From the Weather Channel, the 1993 Weather Guide calendar with phenomenal weather events features stunning weather photos and interesting facts. To order, call 1-800-845-8711.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, travel is not recommended through New England back to New York City and back into Pennsylvania, where we still have a little bit of snow coming down. In Pennsylvania, it will be tapering off, but still heavy snow, more than 2 feet in a 24-hour period in Worcester, Mass, into Connecticut, and into Rhode Island. It's piling up in Boston, and even New York City now. The rain has changed over to snow, so we go from one problem to another. The flooding there perhaps is over, but still we have coastal flood warnings out anywhere from the New England coastline all the way down to New Jersey. So a rough day, still very, very windy up there. Snowy travel here and out west with a bigger storm system developing now and spreading a light snow to the north and heavy snow down into Arizona and New Mexico. As the east snow tapers off, the west will just expand and work on out to the east. As I mentioned, very gusty winds out ahead of this next storm system, but especially here in New England, where out around Boston they've had wind gusts up near hurricane force, and out on the Cape they're still very strong and should be throughout the afternoon. Rain, not a big problem, but we could see a few thunderstorms this afternoon.
As soon as one winter storm cranks up in the east, another one moves in from the west. Coming up, we'll show you what that means for the coming weekend.
For regional Michelin drivers reports, call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER.
Let it rain. Let it snow. You've got Michelin's new all-season MXV4. A luxury performance tire with a very special feature. Climate controlled. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. local forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
And a good day to you. Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel as we continue to cover the December storm of 1992. I'm sure they'll name it something else perhaps, but it can go down for New Englanders especially as one of those that can be classified right with Hurricane Bob, the October storm of 1991 and such, as we've seen just a tremendous amount of snow as well as some beach erosion as well. Folks, let's go ahead and go behind me here and you can see what's been going on in time. You can see the Saturday afternoon high tides, and this is going to play a big part in what's going on right now along the coast. And to help me explain that a little bit further, we've got meteorologist Stu Ostro with us here, and he's going to give us an idea of what the high tides mean to the coast and the bashing that they've gotten with these hurricane-force winds at times.
Okay, Jim, a couple points on the tides. Even though the high tide itself has passed, it takes a while for the tide to subside. A couple hours either side of the high tide, the water is very high. Also, even though it appears the storm is just about peaked in intensity, it's going to remain very windy actually right on through tomorrow. So while each succeeding high tide will be a little lower than the previous one, it still is going to be very windy, and still tides are going to be running above normal.
All right, we've got a satellite picture here we can show you, and what are we looking at here exactly? Where's the center of the low? What can we tell about all that dark blue and enhancement of the clouds that we've done?
Well, as it goes into motion, we think the center of the low is probably right in there. If you look closely, it's spinning around a data buoy not far from the center of the storm. Sustained winds of 54 miles per hour. I suspect the gusts are probably at least 70 miles per hour, maybe close to hurricane force. We haven't seen any gusts to hurricane force right along the coast recently, which is good news, but still Falmouth gust to 61 this hour. Chatham 58, so it still is a very formidable storm.
When do we think this thing's going to pull out now? And I guess, I mean, there's still blizzard-like conditions going on across interior New England. When are those going to let up just a little bit, do you think?
Right, we don't want to forget about the snow, which is an incredible story in itself.
Indeed.
Even there, probably the overall widespread intensity of the snow is just about peaked. From this point on, it'll begin winding down, but still with all that moisture coming in off the Atlantic Ocean, there's going to be waves of snow, still some bursts going on. It's going to take a couple days for the storm to totally wind down completely, as it heads actually out in the Atlantic to remain a pretty good storm.
One more quick question to you. As a meteorologist for quite some time now, what do you think of this storm as a nor'easter? Where would you classify it?
As a nor'easter, it's one of the great ones. I mean, with the wind alone, what happened in New York City yesterday and thereabouts, what's happening today, when you add on the snow in west central Pennsylvania down through the Appalachians and in Massachusetts, it's really remarkable.
All right, Stu, thank you very much for that. And folks, we will continue to update you on this storm from the studio now, and anything that comes in. I'm sure we're going to get some reports from the coast as well. We've got another big storm brewing in the west. How is that going to affect you and your travels this week? Let's go to the studios with Dennis Smith.
Thanks so much, Jim and Stu, and thank you very much for your extensive coverage on this particular storm up in the northeast quadrant of the country, which is still lashing out with snow, wind, high tides, and creating some coastal flooding, so keep that all in mind. We will keep you focused and updated on that storm, as well as later on this afternoon as this storm expands across the Rockies, building out into the plains, and settling all the way down into Arizona. In fact, our forecast will continue to weaken this storm as it pulls away. That is good news for people that live up in the northeast. The wind should be dying down Sunday morning. The snow should be tapering off. While that's happening, this storm gains a little bit more strength, piling up in the Rockies, Denver, all the way up and around the Black Hills of South Dakota, and then some showers and thunderstorms breaking out in the plains as a big dome of high pressure ridges onto the southeast. Another one funnels in towards the northwest. As far as precipitation amounts, the good news is things will be tapering off in the northeast. It will take several more hours, in fact probably the rest of the day, before we see a substantial reduction in that. But it looks like it will be increasing throughout the Rockies and the plains. In fact, some areas of the San Juan Mountains may pick up another foot of snow, while the snows taper off. Still could find a few locations another 6 inches before that storm is over with. We're not writing it off yet. 20s across the northern tier of states, 60s and 70s along the Gulf Coast. Those are highs today. If you have some Christmas shopping to do it in the deep south. It looks like a good day for that. Teens single digits back in the Rockies tonight. Teens with that fresh snow cover in the Northeast. Meanwhile, 40s and 30s sag well down into the Gulf Coast. How about making our projections into the upcoming week, where we find some mild readings on Monday, surging northward into the 60s, but look at the contrast, 20s spilling across the Rockies and northern plains, reminding you those big changes still in the offing as a very active weather pattern continues. 30s pushing down into Texas, where they'll be enjoying 60s today. The mild readings still hovering in the southeast. As we work into Wednesday, that chunk of cold air taking over a little bit more real estate, and the warm air still brushing the Carolinas down into Florida, but not for too much longer, as this grips a little bit more real estate into Thursday and Friday. Looks like most of the country will be covered by a pretty chilly regime. Showers and thunderstorms breaking out ahead of that front all the way up into around the Chicago area. Snow in the northern plains. Looks like we'll connect this on back and across the Rockies. This storm will methodically move eastward. Not quite the impact this last one had, but still, if you're out traveling, it'll affect your travel plans with rain brushing on up into the East Coast on Wednesday from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. Here comes another storm system in the west as the rain and snows continue to pour into the eastern seaboard.
Parts of the Northeast buried under as much as 3 feet of snow. We'll have the latest on this major winter storm coming up on the Weather Channel.
This is not a sitcom. This is my life. Time out for Celestial Seasonings. Today it's Celestial Cinnamon Apple Spice. Now it tastes more fabulous than ever. Packed with natural herbs and spices, bursting with color. Oh, you can smell country apples, freshly ground cinnamon. Heaven.
Celestial Seasonings Herb Teas. Nature makes the taste. Celestial makes the tea.
I needed this.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Play Weather Trivia for your chance to win the grand prize, a Swiss Air trip for 2 to Europe. Just 95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-WEATHER now.
Skiers Forecast is sponsored by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be, and you want to be out there on the slopes right now. They've gotten an awful lot of snow in the last day or two. We could see a swirling snowstorm now, or at least low pressure is really spinning on off the coast of the United States, the East Coast that is, and we've got some radar shots that show you almost all snow now from New England down the Atlantic coast, turning over to snow in a lot of New Jersey. Looking at Sunday River, Maine with 3 new inches. They were about on the northern fringes of this storm. Okemo in Vermont, 52 trails open, 30 in Seven Springs. That 14 inches is just the last 24 hours. They've had closer to 25 or 30 total in Seven Springs. Packed powder at Waterville Valley. Sugarbush, 1 new. Boyne Mountain, Michigan, nothing new recently, but 36 inches of base. As we see the potential for more snow, 6 to 12 inches more in southeast New England, and they've already had 2 to 3 feet in a lot of Massachusetts, parts of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. Another snow area coming in from the west early next week.
Just a hoot and a holler from Nashville's Grand Ole Opry is another place that's home to musicians from all over the world. It's Groon Guitars, where they sell rare and vintage instruments to everyone from Johnny Cash to Motley Crue. So if you go, remember, bring your pick and your Visa card. Because at Groon, you can take your licks on a 1939 Martin, but you can't take it home with American Express. Yeah. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You can use your Visa card at the Pearl Vision Center nearest you.
The Brita water filtering pitcher. To operate, turn on the tap. The tap water flows through Brita's replaceable filter. Copper and lead are dramatically reduced. Chlorine taste and odor virtually eliminated. But even if you don't remember how Brita works, you'll never forget how Brita tastes.
Available at Service Merchandise and participating Ace Hardware.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service.
Tonight's a special night, so crystal clear and bright. Go big.
Now at Long John Silver's, you can collect holiday crystal. With any of our great meals, tumblers are just 69 cents. Stemware and our new mugs, just 99 cents.
At Long John Silver, you're gonna get your wish. Go fish.
Go for our 6-piece shrimp and fries, just $1.99, and add a piece.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
For your travel needs, and boy, it's pretty messy in a large area of the country, especially up in the Northeast, as the snows have come down over recent days, still creating some travel problems. Most of it confined right now to southern areas of New England, brushing eastern areas of New York, New Jersey, and down across Pennsylvania. Even though the precipitation is pretty well ended in western New York and PA, some areas are buried under as much as 2 to 3 feet of snow and will take several days before it's all cleaned up for your good travel needs on these secondary roads. Major interstates should be in pretty fine shape. Some light precipitation breaking out in the northwest as well, even some rain in Arizona along the Rio Grande. But the big story even this afternoon, travel plans along interstates 81, 87, 91, and 95 will be hampered by snow, blowing snow, strong winds, and some very wet snows on the roadways. And again, some more rain will continue in southeast Pennsylvania down through New Jersey and even Delaware. So keep that in mind if your travel plans take you to that part of the country. Snow in the northeast, a large area expanding across the Rockies, pushing on out into the plains, moving through north, South Dakota, Nebraska, and western Kansas, where it looks like even through tomorrow morning that will continue to expand on eastward, and gusty winds will continue, especially northeast.
As soon as one winter storm cranks up in the east, another one moves in from the west. Coming up, we'll show you what that means for the coming weekend.
Skiers, call 1-900-WEATHER for slope conditions at over 400 ski areas worldwide. 95 cents a minute. That's 1-900-WEATHER.
Do you suffer from morning stiffness or aches, snoring, restless sleep? You deserve a better night's sleep. Try the Contour Pillow from Comfort Track. It's anatomically designed to match the natural shape of your neck and head as it aligns and supports. Ordinary and down pillows lose their shape and don't support your neck. Don't do this to your neck. The Contour Pillow comfortably supports your neck so your muscles can relax, reducing strain and allowing you to breathe more freely.
My husband isn't snoring any longer. I did notice when I woke up after using the Contour Pillow a lack of stiffness in my upper shoulder and neck area.
The Contour Pillow is not available in stores. Doctors and chiropractors sell similar products for $50 and even $60. Get your Contour Pillow for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Don't wait until you have discomfort. Order now. Call now to order and we'll give you the zippered washable cover, a $5 value, free.
Have your credit card ready. Call now. 1-800-772-6600. That's 1-800-772-6600. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
If you're about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Special regional information. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll be keeping you updated on the mega storm that has hit the East Coast and is still pounding parts of the coast with wind and snow. They've had their own snows up to 1.5 feet in the Wasatch Mountains of Utah overnight. Now some snows moving through the high country of Arizona into New Mexico, and some rain, possibly thunderstorms down further into the desert. Heavy cloudiness, some mixed precipitation in the Pacific Northwest, and snow developing in a lot of Montana, Wyoming, and moving already into southwest Colorado, and eventually into the Front Range and the high plains. Looking at snow and rain and mountain snow here, Rio Grande, mostly rain and still mostly snow now. Not still, but it's turning over to snow. You can still see the spiral, the swirling of clouds around a very intense low-pressure system off the East Coast. Snow now from Cape Cod, where it's mixed with sleet and rain, to all snow and heavy snow in Boston. It's piling up. Parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, New York State, and turning snow to snow. The snow is moving southward through New Jersey, and some snow still in Pennsylvania. As we check into Boston and Worcester with 26 inches of snow on the ground, up to 30 inches in western Mass, and up to about 2 feet northwest Connecticut. In the west, there is some of that snow.
When it comes to convenience, new recipes all-purpose baking mix beats the old stuff by a landslide. New from Martha White.
Look for Recipes, the new variety baking mix in a resealable canister at your favorite supermarket.
There's a smart way to doctor a cough. Robitussin cough drops.
Try this, it works.
With an active ingredient that speeds soothing relief to your cough.
Try this. It works.
Robitussin cough drops. Cough drops from the cough experts.
When we build a Maglite flashlight, we craft the body from a single piece of aircraft aluminum. We seal each end with high-grade rubber O-rings. We give it a patented self-cleaning switch and a patented adjustable beam. The Maglite flashlight. Brighter, tougher, made in America, flawlessly engineered. The Maglite is a work of art that works.
This holiday season, give the gift of light with a Maglite flashlight.
This Christmas holiday countdown is sponsored by Maglite flashlights. Maglite, the perfect gift to brighten the holidays. 13 days left till Christmas Day, so you may want to get your Maglite flashlight out there and do a little hunting underneath the tree to see if your package is under there already. Some light snow, if you're doing some Christmas shopping today, taking place anywhere from the Rockies all the way back into the northern plains. It may affect those that have some travel plans in those areas as well. Maybe got a little December time off before Christmas. Well, keep that in mind. That will hamper your travel plans. Should be nice in the southeast. Good day to get out and do some shopping. Northeast, still not the okay yet there. In fact, this snow is still driving right on from Massachusetts back into areas of New York, so not a pretty day for any shopping there. Let's go ahead and look at the highs for Saturday with 20s. Bundle up if you're out and about in the northern Rockies, even throughout the west. We'll be talking about 30s. 30s around the Great Lakes into the Northeast. Again, not a good travel day, not a good day to be out and about. There'll be better days, so put this one on hold. Stay inside. 60s and 70s along the Gulf Coast. And if you're sitting around dreaming of a white Christmas, well, your chances of that have improved in the Northeast over the last couple of days. In the South, forget it.
Hello, I'm Leona, your automatic teller. Can I help you with a student loan?
No car loan, Leona. Fast forward.
Home improvement loan.
It's a General Motors car.
Don't get hassled when you finance a new car or truck. Get GMAC financing only at your GM dealer.
Is there someone live I could talk with around?
Do we have one of our calendars? This is a farm calendar. We also have what they call a print calendar. If I can only find it.
GMAC, available right at your GM dealer.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
It's time for our 5-day business planner right now, looking at a mega storm off the East Coast. And every so often we get these. It seems we've been having a lot of them lately. Like last Halloween, there was 30 or 40 inches of snow in Duluth and Minneapolis, Minnesota. And at the same time, the East Coast was getting battered. We're talking about Halloween 1991. Now, a little over a year later, a storm of just as big a magnitude with maybe even greater effect, because there have been snows up to 30 inches from central Pennsylvania down toward West Virginia and Maryland, and soon to be Massachusetts. Already one place in Massachusetts, Granville, has reported 30 inches. There were tremendous winds on the East Coast, winds gusting over 90 miles an hour from New Jersey through the lower bay of New York and the north shore of Long Island, hurricane force winds to Boston. So the name mega storm, just want to explain why we're really impressed with this one. It's still there. A little bit of a dry punch with high pressure here, and then a very large development going on in the west over the Texas Panhandle. Low pressure, but the real storminess, the snow, Arizona, New Mexico, starting to get really heavy in Colorado during the afternoon and extending back to Wyoming, points east and north, with another bit of a front moving into the west. Now, by tomorrow morning, this one should be all but out of there. There should be still some wet snowflakes coming down in southeast New England. It may even turn to snow at Cape Cod and Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. The Cape is turning over right now, by the way. But the snow will be blowing and the wind will be howling and pushing that cold air right down through New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle as some thunderstorms begin to take shape all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Snow's lingering in the Wasatch Mountains of Utah, drier weather and maybe a little warmer on the west coast. Highs today, though, not warm in the Rockies of the high plains, much milder toward the south. And tomorrow, a really chilly punch of air in that snow and blowing snow with some chill in New England, too. Then a bit of a warm-up in the Ohio Valley and even the middle Atlantic coast as we go through the week, and some rain moving in with this. So we're going to have to watch some of those heavily covered snowy areas in parts of the east and the Midwest for possible runoff if it warms up and rains during the week. But first, high pressure. Then the rain starts coming in from the Gulf. Snow as far south as the Rio Grande and bits and pieces of weather in the west, but this could be heavy in the northern plains. Then the whole thing moves eastward, and there's more rain than snow on Tuesday. Snow showers, wind in the Rockies and the Great Plains. Rain hopefully not too heavy with all that snow cover, but you'll have it all the way into New England. Then the snow showers come behind it, and another storm into the west by Thursday. Local forecast and a winter storm update coming right up.
For those of you who have been reluctant to wear a hearing aid, Miracle Ear has more great news. If you have trouble hearing in noisy situations, the exciting Miracle Ear Clarifier may be your answer. The Clarifier features a special filter that automatically reduces background noise.
In a restaurant situation, it picks up the noises I want to hear, but the other noises are just moved off into the background.
If you or someone you know thinks they may be suffering from hearing loss, call Miracle Ear at this number and receive helpful information.
It really makes a lot of difference in your way of hearing and in your way of life.
Call this number. Miracle Ear will send you a booklet on better hearing, plus a coupon for a free hearing test. Call today. Learn about all the good news from Miracle Ear.
A lot of people don't even know you got it, especially the one I got, the design that I got.
Call this number. Find out if Miracle Ear can help you.
Winter storm, boy, we've settled into one doozy up in the northeast quadrant of the country, and look around behind us, and we've got another one sliding across the western states. Here's what's going on with this particular storm is it's still dumping heavy snows in areas of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Will have a major effect right on through the balance of today and probably taper off by tomorrow morning. Some of the heavier snows that fell yesterday occurred into sections of western PA and West Virginia. That's where we had a crew out there detailing the action to enhance our presentation for you so you know exactly what's happening out there. And they did a bang-up job. They reported some of the heavier snows, even in some of the locations they were. At Bradford, they had 25 inches. Du Bois, about 33, and even in Grantsville, Maryland, 3 feet of snow. In Massachusetts, so far today, we've seen Worcester with 26 inches, Pittsfield with 24. Keep in mind, they picked up a ton of snow just about 2 weeks ago. Had some very strong winds with this storm system. Still continue to buffet the coast in Maine all the way down to New Jersey, and now more snow showing up in the west.
Parts of the Northeast buried under as much as 3 feet of snow. We'll have the latest on this major winter storm coming up on the Weather Channel.
What turns a seemingly normal human being into a cold-blooded killer? To really understand, you must delve into the minds of murderers. Bear witness to their tortured family lives, their secret fears and fantasies, the madness behind their shocking methods. Introducing the Library of True Crime, new from Time Life Books. Uncut and uncensored, it's an in-depth report of crimes for love, crimes for money, and crimes that defy all logic and humanity. Call now for your first book, Serial Killers, yours free to examine for 10 days. Keep it and pay just $12.99. Other books will follow, one about every other month. With hundreds of rare photographs, facts, and interviews, Time Life will help you understand the twisted motivations for unthinkable crimes. So call now for your free 10-day examination of serial killers. You won't just look into the eyes of a killer, you'll look through them.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Regional forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
You are tuned to the Weather Channel, and this is the history. The storm that will go down in history as one of the worst to hit the east coast of this century. We read the record books down in the 1800s and 1700s and see evidence of storms like this, and this is one of the ones that may only occur, say, once every 50 years, very possibly. Looking at over a foot of snow right now, more than 2 feet of snow in a lot of Massachusetts, just about into northwest Connecticut, 2 to 3 feet of snow, western PA, down into panhandles of Maryland and West Virginia. Locally 35 inches there, and close to a foot in parts of Michigan back toward Illinois, but the East Coast was the place that really got rocked. Worcester, 26 and counting. Some places in the Berkshires have just about up to 30 now. Pittsfield, Mass. with a solid 2 feet as of a few hours ago. Great Barrington in the Berkshires, 20. Boston, now up to 4 inches. Heavy snow, it's just piling up, and it started in places like West Virginia, Maryland, western PA, up to 36 inches. Panhandle of Maryland, 35. Amazing amounts of snow, and this is not the typical lake effect snows that hit Bradford, PA. They had a big storm this time, but before it started piling up, the snow that is, Boston had 3.5 inches of rain, reminiscent of the blizzard of 1888 in southeastern New England. A lot of rain, then some heavy wet snow. Providence over 2 inches of rain. New York City almost 2, and now they're getting a good dose of snow, but it doesn't look like it'll pile up as much as Boston. And yesterday morning, very early, most of these gusts were measured in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, LaGuardia Airport, New York, all over hurricane force. But this morning, Boston cracked that hurricane force mark with 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts. There you go. Low pressure was about here yesterday. It redeveloped and strengthened south of Cape Cod overnight. The remnants of that low dragging the cold air, the change over towards snow down to around the Philadelphia and South New Jersey area, and snowing heavily up around Boston, Massachusetts, and still a lot of south-central New England, the Catskills of New York, and northern New Jersey, the snow coming down heavily. In the west, they've got a storm all their own. Over a foot of new snow in the Cascades down to Mount Shasta, the Sierra Chain, over 6 inches in parts of the northern Rockies. As we look at that map, all the fronts, all the air masses are coming together and converging in this vicinity. Snow in western Colorado will move east of the Front Range as this front pumps the wind up the mountains, snowing in parts of Wyoming, Montana, and that snow all the way down to the mountains around Tucson, Arizona. Temperatures supporting snow around Salt Lake City with 34. They had over a foot in the Wasatch overnight, a little milder on the Pacific coast, and not that cold, but you throw in the wind chill factor, and it feels like 7 in New York, 5 in Boston, feels like 2 in Rapid City, and 19 in Salt Lake City, and 5 in Casper. Here's the satellite picture, which goes into motion, and we could see some of the magnitude of this storm, the twirling around of the clouds around low pressure and tossing the snow back into the northeast, and some clouds all the way down to North Carolina. They picked up some snow in the mountains all the way down to North Carolina and Tennessee, so ski country is really happy about this, even in the Great Lakes. But now some milder cloudiness moving up through Texas, and some snowy weather headed on toward the high plains. Looking at the clouds giving birth to some snow in Wyoming, western Colorado, and thunder showers moving right along the Mexican border, but turning to snow up around Prescott and Winslow, Arizona, as things calm down in the west. But you're looking at snow cover in the Sierra Chain and more action, rain and mountain snows in the Pacific Northwest. There's a national map, radar map anyway. Most of what you're seeing is snow, except the Rio Grande Valley and parts of Arizona. Again, the twisting and turning of radar echoes around our mega storm off the coast. Most of the snow, except right around Cape Cod, it's mixed. Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and the far southern extremities have rain, but a lot of wind. We could see Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. Heavy snow, Boston toward Worcester again, parts of northern Connecticut, and the Hudson Valley is getting a good dose of snow, as we see the snows around Billings, Montana, southeast Wyoming, and rain and snow depending on elevation in Arizona. The jet stream has gone hog wild. It's cut off a big low on the east coast, but another major trough moving through the west. This low is out, but this begins to bring up some warm air as it moves across the nation. The Saturday afternoon map showing our big storm off the coast and a new one developing, kind of the way it looks right now. That's not going to move very fast. Instead, the snow is going to develop and spread southward from Colorado into New Mexico and hugging that front through the plains as things quiet down most of the west coast. By late tomorrow, thunderstorms could be heavy toward the Gulf and still some vestige of snow showers in parts of the Northeast. Precipitation for the time being moderate in a lot of the west, but still heavy in the east, but that'll change. Up to 6 or more inches more of snow in New England, and then beginning to gather around that Colorado, New Mexico area, and also Utah and Arizona getting plenty of snow. High temperatures really not that unusually cold. Chilly tonight, yes, but fairly normal for this time of the year as temperatures begin to recover nicely in the south, but the Rockies and Plains very, very chilly. And that cold air tries to make it through, but it still stays pretty mild in the east. And that could be a problem where we have all that snow cover. A lot of snow, yes, in the northern plains, but some of that rain is going to move in over the snow, so there could be a problem with runoff a little bit later in the week.
Parts of the Northeast buried under as much as 3 feet of snow. We'll have the latest on this major winter storm coming up on the Weather Channel.
America's first At Napa, you'll always find top-quality parts at a fair price. Plus, great holiday gift ideas for under $20. Like Napa's toy truck, with real truck sound, just $19.95. Napa's 3-amp battery charger, only $4.95 after rebate. Or your choice of Tilton's 93 repair manuals, just $13.95 each. Save on great gifts for under $20. At Napa, America's first choice.
For the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, call 1-800-LET-NAPA.
From the Weather Channel, the 1993 Weather Guide calendar with phenomenal weather events features stunning weather photos and interesting facts. Now available at B. Dalton Booksellers nationwide.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
To achieve your ultimate potential, Nordic Track proudly offers Nordic Flex Gold, the newest idea in strength training that is 5 ways better than SoloFlex. Nordic Flex Gold has linear motion to accurately simulate free weights. SoloFlex uses a less effective arcing motion. Nordic Flex Gold has isokinetic resistance to match your natural strength curve for maximum results. With SoloFlex, the resistance is dictated by the stretch of a rubber band. Nordic Flex Gold's isokinetic resistance also gives you speed. There are no steel plates or rubber bands to change between exercises, so your changeover time is up to 40% faster than SoloFlex. Nordic Flex Gold provides detailed workout instructions with a comprehensive manual, wall chart, and full-length video. And best of all, Nordic Flex Gold costs 1/3 less than SoloFlex. Call now to order your Nordic Flex Gold, the ultimate strength training machine for the ultimate body.
We'll be focusing in on that major storm that's blasting through the Northeast as well as one developing in the West. But first, your business travel forecast.
on the Weather Channel, The Enemy Wind. 45 minutes of tornado action. Watch as a daring storm chaser goes for up-close pictures. Then see The Enemy Wind, the Weather Channel documentary on nature's destructive force. Plus the 1993 tornado calendar. 13 dramatic photos and tales of tornado oddities. Call 1-800-525-6600 to own The Enemy Wind and the tornado calendar, all for just $19.95. Call now and charge by phone or send check or money order to the address on the screen. Call now.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Time to check that international weather picture to the satellite picture, and we have a lot of movement going on also in the European continent as well as in the U.S., but a little more low-key here. Low pressure and a cold trough now spinning in toward Norway. Any rain from yesterday turning into snow, most of those countries, and a line of clouds with mostly moderate amounts of rain moving through Eastern Europe, but still another trough and a low coming in through the North Atlantic is Spain. And a lot of the Mediterranean ended up pretty nice, but Eastern Europe getting a bit of a front, a cool front there. Looking at temperatures in the late evening hours, 25 Moscow, 28 Stockholm, 30s, 40s in a lot of the heartland, 45 in London, but 57 in Seville, Spain, and Palermo, Italy, 54 in Rome in the evening. Not too bad compared to some of the weather we're seeing in the States. Big high, though, for Sunday with only a few showers over the Pyrenees. Pretty nice weather, Mediterranean, snow into Russia, and a mixture, actually a warm front changing the snow again back to rain in parts of Norway during the day. But at first, temperatures in the 20s. And in Russia, a lot of 30s. That'll be the standard in Eastern Europe, but 60s and 50s along the Mediterranean coast. A few showers, 60 in Athens, breezy Brussels, 40, low 40s in London, not bad. Madrid, upper 60s, not bad. 30s in Frankfurt, Rome sunny, low 50s, and Paris variable clouds. Stockholm near 30 and Vienna, partly cloudy. Weather and your health is next.
Select the latest forecast for your destination from close to 300 more international cities. Just 95 cents a minute. Call 1-900-WEATHER.
If cold weather fun hits your hot button, West Virginia's got you covered with pure white excitement. Over 150 inches of snow each year, giving you the longest ski season in the Mid-Atlantic region. Beautiful, uncongested, easy to get to, and great skiing. Call for your free travel guide. If you'd like to see your winter fun really snowball, Ski West Virginia, a welcome change.
Skiing West Virginia is a welcome change. For more information, phone 1-800-CALL-WVA.
Here's where Alka-Seltzer Plus fights tough colds with tough congestion, tough aches, tough sore throat.
This is why you need a tough medicine. Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. The leading cold pill only relieves congestion, but Alka-Seltzer Plus relieves congestion, sore throat, headache, body aches. That's tough medicine.
You bet it's tough.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. It's tough medicine. For a cold with a cough, try Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Cough Medicine.
Time once again for the Weather in Your Health, which is sponsored by Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold Medicine. Tough medicine for tough winter colds. And boy, we've got some tough winter to deal with. Already the flu map is getting a little bit active with the states shaded in yellow, representing those with sporadic cases of flu bug, encompassing a little bit more real estate as people are confined inside a little bit more now, and especially over the holidays. The virus can be spread from person to person, so keep that in mind. If one of your family members or friends come down with the flu bug, try to isolate them. Get that bug taken care of. Make them feel a little bit more comfortable as they try to go through it. We find out above normal pain index up in the Northeast and a large swath in the Rockies as well as the Plain States. That's because that's where the two stormy areas are occurring right now. with big swings in the barometric pressure, the wind, and even precipitation. So keep that in mind if you have arthritis or bursitis. Similar conditions are experiencing above normal respiratory distress. You have asthma, emphysema, bronchitis. You're going to feel the effects of the changeable weather in the Rockies and up in the Northeast.
A classic nor'easter in New England. Heavy snow, high winds, and high seas. We'll have the whole story coming up on the Weather Channel.
Call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER, before you hit the road, and you'll be prepared for any weather Old Man Winter brings.
There's a tornado coming to your video library. Now, a new title from the Weather Channel that you can own on video, The Enemy Wind. 45 minutes of tornado action and 2 thrilling stories. First, follow the exploits of a fearless storm chaser and photographer as he documents the fury of the storm. Then, the Weather Channel production that takes you inside the destructive force of a tornado, The Enemy Wind. How the storm is forecast and the tale of one tornado town. Plus, at no extra charge, the Weather Channel 1993 Tornado Calendar. 13 dramatic photos and dozens of amazing tornado tales. Call 1-800-525-6600 now, and you can own The Enemy Wind and the 1993 Tornado Calendar, all for just $19.95. Call 1-800-525-6600 now and charge by phone or send check or money order to the address on the screen. Call now.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.